Hey everyone, welcome to Front of the Eps. I'm Menti, and this is the first episode of the Tank Tussle Season 4 tournament. Except it's not going to be an actual battle episode, it's going to be an overview episode of all the tanks that are participating in the tournament. There's a total of 15 entries. So starting out, we've got the guns that go splat by Herpeta. We're doing this in seed order, so he got the best score on the Gatekeeper test. These tanks are all the same. I think they've got different colors, and that's it. And probably different, I would imagine different breads, or maybe, I don't know, but we're only going to look at one because they're all basically the same thing. So here we go. This is the Splatterific tank. Pretty cool, like, muzzle brake looking thing on there, made out of laser designators? Not designators, pointers. 312 meters, 7 RPM gun, which fires good old AP heat. And they all apparently have a weak spot right above the AI. Okay. Nice kinetic damage and armor in AP. Wait, that's can't. Yeah, that's right. So that's going to be a dangerous gun right there. For anything that's, you know, a little explosive, anybody that's using APS is going to dislike this gun. Did you? Oh, yeah, looks like you did. Whoops. In the front, looks like we've got wedge armor. Metal wedges. Oh, from the side. That side armor is not good. Oh, it's got 3-meter wheels in the way. And they have 7,200 health. So that's actually not too bad. But it's got a pleek, wheel, and then into the ammo you go. But you have to flank it to do that. Yeah, wheels are pretty strong. Hesh will have fun. Yeah, this thing goes pretty quick. Pretty agile little tanks. It's got some oblique armor on the top. Going into some square corner, heavy armor, square corner armor. Looking like an angry bug. So yeah, that's the guns that go splat by Herpeta. Oh yeah, there's an ammo box on the stick in the back. The missing beam above the AI. Oh yeah. Right here. Oops. Alright. So next, we've got the Alket blah, blah, blah. Next up, we have the Alket Manufacturing Prototypes by Titan 650, which again is a triple entry of all the same tanks, so we'll just take a look at one. Which is firing a 402mm gun at 22.6 RPM. Pretty high rate of fire for such a big shell. What's it firing? Ah. Squash HE gunpowder. Not a huge amount of damage per shell, but will fire those shells pretty quickly. This is Titan 650's tank harness. .243 meter per second shells. Pretty slow. Oh, I didn't even realize you could have a bore evacuator on the end like that. I usually put them like the very first block, if I use them at all. Learn something new every day. And this thing's frontal armor. It's got these slopes, then a metal beam, then poles, then more metal, more metal, more metal, more metal. Yeah. Makes sense, harness. More poles. And then you finally get into something. You get the engine here, the resource storage. There's a lot of resource storage. The AI. And then the guns all the way in the back here. Like, the AI will get killed from the front before the gun will. Unless you hit, like, through the top. Then we've got this turret, which has some spaced armor in it as well. To prevent Hessian heat. It's even got a couple missiles. Laser designated HE missiles. Got 2 of those. So yeah, those are the Alket manufacturing prototypes. The, what's it called again? Hellion. By Titan 650. Next up, we have the Ministry of Peace by Cornholio. With some sound soothing. What sound soothing? Yeah, the names on these are interesting. They're another entry where they're all the same, just different colors. Right? So we'll load stupidity. Indeed, Nuttertrap, indeed. Doom Snail. Well, kind of. Because in here, inside these logs are cram cannons, 2,000 millimeter cram cannons. Firing extremely penetrative cram shells. It wasn't a hatchet job. I also saw him playing, right? But yeah, 36,000 kinetic damage with 32.5 AP. They're going to be punching through armor like crazy. Because it has 2 of them. Each one of them has 2 of them. And there's 4 of them, so there's 8 of these guns. It might kill a heavy armor wedge. Right? And then, I don't know, this is sort of becoming Cornholio's trademark in my tournaments. Just poles everywhere. And you got the cram cannons down in here. Then you've got the engine, which shows a stable power of 83, but I don't know. The power does weird things, but it never goes above 249, so whatever. $248, okay. It's hard to tell because it flickers. Yeah, indeed, Tyrannus. Also high. Daylight savings is... It needs to go away. It's not useful anymore. Anyway. Yeah, this is going to be quite a difficult tank to take out. And it's got some heavy-hitting crams. I don't think so. It doesn't have any rams on it. So yeah, that's the Ministry of Peace by Cornholio. Well, the other ones they're all just the same thing but different colors. As you can see. Next up is the Heshmis by myself. Whoops. Which is another entry that's just 3 of the same tank. Which, a good chunk of you got to see them do the Gatekeeper test already earlier. Why does... This little E25 looking thing. AP heat? No. It's firing this rather potent Hesh shell. Yep, pure rail. 5.2 RPM. A little bit low on RPM, but it's actually like 499.99. To get that better sound. But yeah. 356 meters per second. It's bouncing off the ground a lot here. Whoops, I just deleted the barrel. Then for armor, we've got some heavy armor slopes, some metal, a couple meters of metal, some heavy armor on the front, and a layer of stone. On the front. Oh, it looks like I forgot to put. It looks like I forgot a thing of armor right here myself. Whoops. Yep, weak spot. I had wedges to start with her, Peta, but it just made the tank so big that it was too expensive. Paint it glowing red. And then we've got the heavy armor beam slopes as well. Got heavy armor beam slopes on the side with 2 meters of stone, 2 meters metal, though the outer layer of metal is slopes. Got 2 generators in here to power the railgun. They provide more than enough power, but I do need both of them. So there's no redundancy there, unfortunately. Then we've got a little bit of space in here, but you know. Then we've got some air here, just because I had to delete these to make it cheap enough to work. And they weren't really necessary, because this is just covering armor. Then we've got the engine. Air armor, cheapest armor, right? It wasn't a cost-cutting measure, it was a meta move. Yeah, not a huge amount of sloping from the sides, but they are supposed to be front-siders. And then you got the engine, which is the classic cylinder injector radiator, which the radiator creates a little bit of a weak spot because it is kind of poking out the bottom of the tank. Oh, look where else I forgot to put some beams. Whoops. Oh well. Holy Thanos. Holy Tonks. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I messed that up. Magnetic mines, right? Yeah, they would, the underside of the tank is not terribly strong. It's just a meter of metal. Oh well. There's no, like, other than the resource containers, there's not really anything, and the ammo, I guess. There's not really anything exposed by that hole. The ammo's kind of important, but like HE will have a hard time getting in there. Oh, it has an AI. How would it not have an AI? It's just inside this heavy armor brick, so it's not exposed by that hole. Kind of important, yes. Yes, where AI belongs, inside the heavy armor brick. Right, Tyrannus? That's some next level thinking right there. We'll see how she does. I'm not holding out high hopes, but we'll see. $64 DHS. Wait, did I not? Oh, I wasn't supposed to be next. Whoops. I skipped the Abrasive Association by harness. Whoops. Oh well. It doesn't really matter what order we do it in. My Gatekeeper score was 90.5. Alright. Next up, we've got the Abrasive Association by harness, which is 4 of the same tank. Which I think look really awesome. These things are cool looking. Yeah, they are fast and maneuverable. Armed with rams and crams. Let's take a look at the cram. $17,000 kinetic at 22.22 AP and 15,000 explosive damage. Yeah, these won't penetrate as far as the other crams we saw in the Ministry of Peace, but they will do a lot more post-penetration damage. Their speed is 47 meters per second top. There's 4 of them, and they slide around the battlefield doing Tokyo Drift shenanigans. They are fast and probably difficult to hit, but their armor is not terribly impressive. Got some offsets, a beam, then another beam, some slopes, and then you're into the good stuff. Looks like the cram cannon is entirely in the turret, though. Harness relying a bit more on redundancy per vehicle here, I think, than actual armor. Cool little engine here. This thing just looks awesome, though. I like the aesthetic. Got decorative rams. See, like that one's decorative, but these won't. I know there's actual rams in here. Yeah, this is an actual ram. It just has a deco on it too. I'm confused. Whatever the case, there's nothing saying you can't use sub-objects to like angle the rams. They just can't move the rams. Oh, original mesh is hidden. Real rams covered by deco rams. Gotcha. That's what it is. Ah, so this one's facing sideways. Gotcha. Okay, I get it now. And this one's probably facing upwards. Yeah. I thought they were actual rams pointing in those weird directions, but okay, that works. Yeah, since I changed the wording of the rule. Portable hedgehogs, yes, indeed. I changed the wording of the rule such that sub-objects cannot import motion to rams, so you can actually technically do something like this with an actual sub-object and have them at different angles. Oh yeah, they don't... That's... Okay, I see. Alright, anyway. That is the Abrasive Association by Harness. We're through the first 5 vehicles. 10 more to go. A third of the way done. Alright, so... Next up is Unit 52 by Eigenfunction, which this one actually has 4 different tanks. This is the King of Clubs. Eigen's Gatekeeper rating was 86.8. So we've got an 11.4 RPM Hesh round. 300 millimeter. Can they fly? No, they cannot fly. They're not even particularly fast, to be honest. Tank Tussle Hesh Edition. Yeah, just you wait, Tyrannus. Just you wait. I know what's coming. And we've got some metal wedges, wedge backs in here. Followed by a couple of beams, and then another set of wedge backs, and then the AI. The AI is very much in the front of this thing. Yeah, the AI is right here. But yeah, we'll move on quickly here because we got 4 other vehicles to do. Now we've got the Ace of Spades. This is a pretty cool looking tank. It's almost like a mech with 2 of these 4.6 RPM 333mm Hesh rounds. It's got 2 of those guns mounted on it. Then the armor here on the front. We've got the sloped outer armor, 2-meter beam, 3-meter beam, 3-meter beam, and then AI again. But I do like the way this thing looks. It's pretty cool. Alright, then we've got the Jack of Diamonds. They're not really kiters, but per se, if I remember correctly. They're not rammers, but they're not kiters exactly. Yep, this is a 21mm heat, just 21mm heat round. So it's not even CWIZ. Just a high rate of fire heat. Small heat. But that's a lot of RPM. I shall test your armor for any weak spots. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing these in order of Gatekeeper score. Generally, yes. I did kind of mess up on one spot, but, you know, mistakes happen. Oh, this is a belt fed. Okay. That explains how it got, Yeah, I know, mistakes, right? It's belt fed. That's how it got that much RPM. A little bit more conventional armor scheme on this one. Got some slopes. Yeah, then finally we have the Queen of Hearts. Which 10.6 RPM Hesh round. Is this just the same as the King of Clubs? No, they're not the same. They're very close though. But they shoot a very similar shell, have a similar armor scheme. AI's in the same spot. I don't think these are very different. Possibly Nutter Chap. Yeah, fairly hefty shells. next up, we've got the Memontonok by Seminostro. Which, these are all 5 identical tanks. Which, these ones, they're a bit familiar to me. Does this remind anyone else of the Knights, sort of? Just a bunch of direct input fed guns with rams on sticks. Mutant Knights, yes. These all have very poor RPM, but they fire a big ol' HE shell. I'm not exactly sure why they have a penetration fuse when they have all of 5,700 kinetic armor and 6.5 armor piercing. So I'm not really sure what the penetration depth fuse is for. Or the stabilizer fin. You figure they would have been better with just more HE. It's got an HE head. Might have been intended to be APHE at one point. Maybe. Yeah, Hesh would have been a good choice here. I mean, if we just turn this to HE, all HE, change this to Hesh, that's pretty nasty. When it's coming at you 6 times per tank with 5 tanks, so that's 30 shells. The reload is not good. Yeah, these things better hope to land their first volleys pretty solidly, or they're going to be in trouble. Oh, yeah, these are 500 millimeter, but the thing was set to 205 millimeter. Oh boy. Oh boy, that would be nasty. But if we change this back, let's... Actually, you know what? Just to make this easier, let's load in another one. Because I messed with the customizer. Because for some reason the customizer is set to 205 when they're firing 500 millimeter. That's a bit more painful. And it's got in... One of the guns is 205 millimeter. This one's 179. These are all 500. I don't see a 205 millimeter shell. No, it doesn't have anything on a cram HE shell, but when there's 6 of them coming at you per tank, that's going to be painful. Yeah, I don't know why the APS thing was set to 205 millimeter. That was weird. Then it's got this very sloped heavy armor hull. There's a couple meters of heavy armor for armor all around. Several layers of spaced armor for anti-Hessian heat. Mobility, it's... Well, I mean, it's spinning around pretty quick, but it doesn't seem to have very good acceleration. The weird cross between the Knights and the Overrain. Yeah, kinda. Overknights. Except it doesn't aim above things and shoot frags down into them. Chivalrous Rain. Alright. Next we've got the Pyre Battalion Reignited by Pyrotech. Which this also has, well, the Lahars are the same. But the Tephra and the Pele and the Lahar are all different. Not the same as in the same as Tank Tussle 3, just the same as in the same blueprint. Oh, just different priority settings, okay. And also making R2-D2 noises. Got the 1600mm cram with decent penetration and good, kind of low explosive damage. But I mean, if it penetrates into something important, it doesn't need a lot of explosive. Droid alert. Good RAM setup, Harness says, having almost the exact same RAM setup. There's small things trying to shoot things that are running away. Oh, what was that? Oh, right, these things doot. I just remembered that. All right. Take a peek at the frontal armor here. You wanted it to go over the cliff. Press X to do. Somebody else using some stone here, but they're using slopes. Stone beam slopes. But turned such that I guess Hesh will originate from them rather than hitting them. But Hesh gets nerfed by, it's weighted by thickness, so it won't really affect the AC as much, or the AP as much, because they're thinner. Because they're a half block, at best. True, it is still the innermost block, so it gets the weighting 3 times. We got the AI in here in the back. Oh, it's got a cram mortar too. Forgot about that. A little mortar on the back. Lots of AP, but not a lot of kinetic damage. Tyrannus is happy. Freaking dude. This is turning into an obsession. Yeah, the AI is next to the engine. Another dude. Are they in separate heavy armor compartments? It's hard to tell. It looks like they're right next to each other. Oh, well, in every other tank. Okay. Tephra is a fast, agile, high acceleration rammer. camera in the front. Hey, Titan 650. Also glued to the ground by anti-roll bars, yes. For the most part. Oh, it was a light fitting. Oh, right. Yep, so it's got the engine there. AI's in the back here. Breadboard controlled, of course. Lights for hot block spoofing. Oh, well, looks like we're going over. There you go, Nutter. You happy now? I hope it's more inflippable than Taki was on Unsinkable. Right? And then finally, the Lahar Toba is the same thing, just different priority settings, apparently. We've got the Pele, which is the only vehicle in the entire tournament armed with a large missile. And it's a large heat. Yeah, HE thump. Thump. I mean... a spicy missile, yes. We'll take a look at the armor in here real quick. Oh, I skipped one again. Damn it. No, it's a 2-axis turret. Yeah, this one's pretty. It'll be pretty decent against Hesh. At least at first. But it is rather thin armor, so... well, not thin, but, it'll collapse to the thump damage fairly quickly. Herder potato mesh. Okay. Anyway. That is the Pele, and those were the Pyro Battalion reignited by Pyrotech. Then Imperfections by Nutterchap is next. So yeah, next up is Imperfections by Nutterchap, which we've got half measures and old habits of the same vehicle. So we'll take a look at half measures. It's got some rams on the front and a big old high penetration cram, if I remember right. Yep, 24,000 kinetic damage with 32.5 AP. So unfamiliar, never seen. this cram hurts. If it hits, yes, indeed. Armor layout, got the outer slopes. Pretty good thick layer of beams. I'm on the turret, aren't I? Is this heavy? Yep, heavy armor beams. And then heavy armor poles, heavy armor beams. This is clearly a design that got put together in a shed somewhere after the old tanks got towed off the battlefield by a tractor. Right? Okay. So that is the, what was it? Old half, or half measures. This is the complacency. Just let that sink in. Cope cage. It's not actually a skeleton design, Mitch. The armor is just using decorations to be, or Nutter Trap just used decorations to hide all the armor. I'm not gonna go through and delete all the decorations one by one, no. Enable drag view to... How do I do that? Invisible armor, yes, Herfita. Middle click, top right. Hello, Tonk. How do I... Ah. I wasn't aware that you could do that so easily either. Now, I'm glad I do, though. Corn immediately zeroes in on one of their favorite blocks. But yeah, this tank fires... Why can't I... Why is it not... Oh, because I've got the middle mouse menu open, that's why. .293 millimeters at 20.3 RPM, firing Hesh. Indeed, Hesh. I thought you were French. Wow, Pyrotech. uh... All right, next up with a Gatekeeper's... Oh, no, hold on. Okay, now next up with a Gatekeeper score of 74.3, which I guess I should have been saying for all of them, but too late now, are the Virtues by Tyrannus. With 3 different tanks. That I do not know how to pronounce. This thing is the Eustia? Eustia? I don't know. But it's a rammer. Pronunciation guide included. This thing does the ramming. Firepower is overrated. Yep, it does flipping. It gets these rams right underneath something and then goes doing and flips them. Had to throw it around using AG to actually flip it. All right. Very small tank. Heavy armor and lead. Yep, redundant AI. It's an interesting little bugger. Then next up we have Prudencia. Which fires 50mm. It fires 2 different shells. A 50mm AP round. And a 50mm AP heat. Lay armor ripper, yes. Uses wheels as armor. These big 20,000 health 5-meter drive wheels. Cope cage. Wheel spall catcher, yes. We got the ammo customizers there. The cope cage. Front armor, metal beam, stone beam, wheel, metal beam. Yeah, definitely an interesting armor scheme. Those wheels are expensive at $500 a pop. Oh yeah, this thing kind of rotates around when it's driving. It spins. Anyway, next we have Fortitudo, which is just... It doesn't have enough rams. Not enough rams. Called Testudo instead. Yeah, this thing's got some armor. With all the rams, catch and hesh, and then even if you do get through that, it's got, you know, beam slopes everywhere. Not everywhere, but a good number of them. Yeah, this tank has more rams than several other entries combined. Indeed. It's got smoke, too. How many rams? Yes. Yes, it jumps. If a tank gets on top of it, it jumps. Just bounces up and rams it from below. And next up, we have the Assortment of Adorable Abominations by Doom Agent. Which, the cockroaches are the same, but otherwise we have 4 vehicles to look at here. But this one, the Snowflake, is just a little rammer. I think this does Beyblade, yes. What is its speed? 48 meters per second. Yes, very light. I mean, that's the Snowflake. Not a whole lot to see there. It's a very small vehicle. Then we've got the Cockroach, which is another little guy. It's a little missile buggy, if I remember right. Yep, missiles shoot out the back. Little HE missiles. cucaracha. And armor is, it technically has some. Technically. But not a whole lot. Yeah, I can distract a much bigger opponent for a while. True. Pooping missiles so disgusting. Yeah, that's what it does. It poops out missiles. Next up, we've got the hot dog. Seems like I got a bug there. Please report. So yeah, we got the hot dog, which fires 4.6 RPM, 333 millimeter. I believe it's AP heat. Yep. Oh, it's APHE heat. Oh yeah, let's scroll down. It has a lot. It has a lot of kinetic damage. On the front, it's got some heavy armor slopes. Sides, heavy armor square corners for spaced armor, and then a couple meters of metal. Fighting this will be an AI dead race, right? It is not the most well-armored of vehicles. But it has that big old gun. You already saw the cockroach, and then everybody's favorite from Tank Tussle 3, the Piggy. Yep, now it has tusks. More like a warthog. Yeah. And it's got this fairly potent mortar on the back of it. 22,000 kinetic damage and 25,000 explosive in a mortar. I'm sure that'll make Tyrannus happy. This little piggy did your mom. Yeah, happy that there's a mortar, not happy at that AP rating, right, Tyrannus? Oh, that'll hurt your heavy. That's another reason to not be happy about it. Yeah, that's true. I wonder, does it have full velocity shells this time? Yeah, 300 meters per second. True, Pyrotech. Alright, next up we have the Mark III TV-8 by Hugin. Which, it's 5 vehicles, they're all the same vehicle. Very tank destroyer looking, not tank destroyer, but big turret. It reminds me a bit of the Ferdinand, except the Ferdinand is a tank destroyer, but this is on a turret, and it fires 500 millimeter Hesh rounds, 1 meter Hesh. It vibrates with anger. What's somewhat unique about this thing is it's a vomit gun. It just bursts out all of the shells in one volley because it's a railgun. The slowest shells in existence. Yeah, just out go the shells. Here, just because this one's kind of novel, I'll show it real quick. And then reloads for 150 years. It actually doesn't reload for that long. I mean, it does have a long reload time, but watch. They'll be ready to fire again in a few seconds. See? Yep, fast and quite mobile. This is true. But they're rather fragile. Like, these turrets look like they have decent armor, but it's three beam slopes. One of them being heavy armor, two of them metal from the sides. And then you're in the gun. It's a lot of partial block armor on the turret. And I think it got a bit of HE leaked by the Gatekeeper in one of its rounds because it didn't get a very good score. Its Gatekeeper score is 23.3. Oh yeah, and when it turns the turret, they get exposed on the bottom too. That is true. So they are not... They're not, like, super fragile, but they're not the most durable of tanks. Hesh turrets are very explodey. Yes. Yes, indeed. So that was the Mark III TV-8 by Hugin. Next, we've got the... An employee should have dashing and stupid look by faithful ally from Okinawa. There's 5 of them on the team with Cornolio. Yeah, the name on this one puzzles me. Because then they're called the XT-67 Blizzard. But the team is called An Employee Should Have a Dashing and Stupid Look. Oops, I spawned it on Dustman Gypsies. Keep calm and trust me, I'm an engineer. Which is firing at 21.9 RPM, a 1 meter Hesh round. And yes, this is a rail, and yes, it is another vomit gun. This one's got some thicker frontal armor, but it didn't fare so well against the Gatekeeper either. It's got a score of 23, because one of its round it got absolutely destroyed with a score of negative 99.6. Because the AP Heat Cram Tonk, or the AP Heat Gatekeeper Tonk loved popping these turrets. Or the APHE, not AP Heat. Loved popping these turrets. Yeah, they're quite fast, so... Yeah, I misspoke, Tyrannus. It was the APHE. And the Hesh Heat, I think, also liked to do it from the back. But the turrets like to get blown up. We'll see how things go, though. Because I feel like those vomit shells are probably going to perform a lot better against regular entries than they did against the Gatekeeper. No worries, Tyrannus. Alright, so that is the XT67, or 76? 67. XT67 Blizzard. An employee should have a dashing and stupid look by Faithful Ally from Okinawa. I can show the brackets again once we're done. We're almost done with the, we've only got 2 more entries to go over. And next up, we've got the Damned Imperial Land Fleet by BRM, which has 3 different vehicles. We've got the Land Chibi Fast Battleship Congo, which these guns are all just decorative back here and on the sides, little casemate guns. Yes, it's super cute. And this one, the only real gun on this thing is this right here. Oh, I spawned it on the enemy team again. Hold on. Yes, a literal land battleship. Got this 6.9 RPM 300mm AP Heat, I believe? If I remember right. Yep, AP Heat. So it has that penetration depth fuse. Not really needed. But it's got some good kinetic damage. A bit excessive AP. But good kinetic damage. It was enough that it was popping turrets off the Seawiz tank and the Hesh Heat and AP Heat or APHE tank. Got some generators down here for the rail guns, or the rail gun. Relatively weak armor for the most part. It does have, you know, the whole turtleback thing going on. Yeah, so that's the Congo. Next we have the Heavy Cruiser Furutaka. Which again, these are mostly decorative, but it does have actual guns here. 11.8 RPM, 179 millimeter Hesh. Wait, let's look at the spalling and thump damage. I believe that's all this has on it for a weapon, or does this have missiles? I forget. I know the Udachi has missiles. Okay, this doesn't seem to have missiles. Okay. Again, very similar armor scheme as the Congo. Not quite exactly the same. It doesn't have the turtle back. But it's got some slopes on the insides. So yeah, that was the Land Shibi Heavy Cruiser Furutaka. Then we've got the Land Shibi Destroyer Udachi, which is armed with 4 of these missiles here. Poi? Why are you saying poi? I don't get it. I feel like I'm missing something. Anyway. Put the superstructure in front of one of the laser designators. Yeah. Just a little bit there. Alright, that would explain it. I have no idea what Kantai Collection is. But yeah, it's a little guy. If I remember right from the Gatekeeper test, it can take a surprising beating for being so small and relatively lightly armored. Because, I mean, its weapons are all right here, so if you blow up all this up here, like, it doesn't really do anything to it. Except there is ammo here. So, if I remember correctly, this thing was only destroyed by going 2 damaged. Alright, yeah, so that is the Damned Imperial Land Fleet by BRM. Next up, we've got our last entry, The Beauty and the Beast by the Brisby Mouse. Which consists of the Curse of Derek Biari and the Curse of Cave Kerbenog. Which Derek Biari is just a muscle car. Like, it's literally entirely decorative. It doesn't even have a ram on it anywhere. It does, they're hidden. Oh, is that what it is? Oh yeah, there is a ram right here. Yeah, there are rams on it. Never mind. They're just invisible. I thought it was just a completely decorative entry, but it does have rams. Oh yeah, let's do that. Oh wow, it's actually got quite a few rams on it. That makes more sense now. But it does look cool. Let's spawn in an enemy so we can hear the special features. Now we're gonna save those for the episode. For the battles, I mean. Then we've got the Curse of Cave Cairnbrannog, which is a much more typical tank with a cram gun that fires its thump frag. Yeah, that camo is definitely something else. Yes, 0.1 AP thump. So it's frag, yeah. Kill it with fire, preferably heavy mortar fire. And the camo is just everywhere, of course. Well, murder wood, right? Nobody really made wooden vehicles, though, for the most part. We did have the Ministry of Peace had some wood. Oh yeah, there is a meme on the bottom of the car. Okay, we'll check out the meme, and then that'll be it. We'll be done. Because Brisby and his bottom memes. Me tasting the Pele under my car to find out if it's oil, coolant, ATF, fuel, or all of the above. Oh boy. All right. So we'll take one last quick look at the bracket. Okay, treat the cat. All right. Where is the cat? Panther. Oh, treat the dog too. So here you go, Allie. And now I have to take a drink. Oh, there's Panther. He's in his bed. You want a treat? Panther? You want a treat? Come here. Not you, Allie. You already got your treat. Greedy dog. Yeah, not even a single loud meow this stream. He's been napping. But yes, the bracket. One last look here. This is our bracket. I'll be posting a link to it onto the Discord after the stream. Herpeta gets the only bye. Yep, I'll be posting a link to that here shortly. But yeah, that'll be the end of the episode and the stream, folks. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.